humanitarian organization that reach out to disadvantaged Liberians, not only that, but also to women and our children greatly. She didn't stop there, but interested in it, as an unsung hero, she established her own business center. That's the very first thing. Okay, so she managed her own business. She employed Liberians, void of being a part of this government in the organization process of that festivity. So she's a woman of peace. She graduated with a bachelor's degree from AME Zion, instrumental person, a workaholic, within the rank and file of the Mighty Coalition for Democratic Change. The stage that is on the CDC headquarters where the Standard Bearer and others sit on that podium, it was through her instrumentality and her creativity that stage was being constructed. She participated in the primary in the CDC, and like we said, it's a win-win situation. And she could not have been on the ticket for a district number 9 representative seat. So she's not a political novice, very eloquent, went to the debate. He saw her output in the debate among those who thought that she was at the lowest end of her own thought. Unfortunately, she took them by surprise. Now, she served a very big position in the history of our country. If we look at our opponents, I'm talking about those in the collaborating forces who have served in government, they never reached the level that she has reached. And what is that level? As deputy minister, let me repeat, the collaborator, not only that, she even proposed for the Doe community rural rehabilitation, rural construction, not rehabilitation. Okay. She went there, and the president listened to that and executed that. Not only that, but there were projects and programs in the West Point community, the renovation of schools and other areas. She was very instrumental. You can Google her name and you see that as Deputy Minister and Minister of Internal Affairs of the Republic of Liberia. So we bring a very seasoned character to the table. Now, our candidate is not going to the Liberian Senate with arrogance. Let me repeat. Our candidate is not going to the Liberian Senate with arrogance. Our candidate is going to the Liberian Senate to help improve the gains and help push the national manifesto of our country and go and cooperate with the people. Because if you go in there and you don't cooperate with the people, I can tell you, you will underperform. Where the need be to disagree, our candidate will disagree. Where the need be for our candidate to agree on issues, our candidate will agree on those issues that are necessary. So our candidate is not going to the legislature to roll her sleeves, to battle internally, where you say you will constructively disrupt. No, there's nothing. Disruption is disruption, and there's no constructive disruption. Disruption is just a negative terminology, no matter how you place it. So our candidate is not going as an individual. Our candidate is going for a collective gain in the Liberian Senate. Let me come to Abu B. Kamara of District number 15. What $1 million into selling out there or becoming petty traders. And Abu waved that money at the end of the day. Nobody unprecedentedly had done that in that district. So Abu has his own what we call the Abu Development Initiative. The ADR, so to speak, been involved into a lot of constructions and rehabilitation. The rehabilitation of the Logging Town Road, the rehabilitation of not less than 10 latrines in District 15, the rehabilitation of schools, for example, providing school materials to school, helping the mosques, helping the churches, providing a 12 kVA generator to the market itself, etc. You can go on and on and on. So that's the humanitarian side. And that's one of the developmental side of Abu Kamara. Not only that, but Abu also constructed an intellectual center where young people will go and sit and debate issues and analyze issues. Abu is not a stranger to the Liberian body politics. He has served at the executive mansion when it comes to the project area. He has worked with the project area of the executive mansion under the former administration. Abu has served as assistant ministers, 2 different portfolios at the Ministry of Post and Telecommunication and at the Ministry of Transport for what we call roads and railroads. He was very instrumental in that and generating revenue for taxpayer money to be collected and put in the development aspect of our country. He also served as deputy minister. He didn't only stop serving as deputy minister, but he served as deputy managing director for administration at the LPRC. So our candidates are not strange to government. Not only have they worked in government, but they have worked at almost the highest level of the governmental cycle in the history of our country. Our candidate graduated from Roosevelt College by 1999, and he went to the University of Liberia and obtained a bachelor's degree. So if you talk about the political, if you talk about the economic aspect or the business aspect or the developmental drive, I will tell you, Abu is not a stranger to Liberian border politics. In 2003, I can recall vividly when there was this, what we call World War I, II, and III. Abu was an activist, and not only that, also affiliated with what we call the Friends of Bronskin that established the Liberty Party, subsequently established Bronskin to have run for the presidency of our country. So Abu almost got killed in this country when he led that demonstration that the belligerent forces along with the government must cease fire and the Liberian people deserve a better living. The front page Africa carrying news alarm. He fled this country with a fountain kingdom into Guinea, into Ghana. So Abu has been one of those who put his life on the line for the survival of the Liberian people at the most difficult moment in the history of our country. So he's not a stranger. He's a good gentleman. Not only is he a good gentleman, but Abu has a standard in his humanitarian drive, not only for the people of District Number 15. I remember, I saw about 2003 on Kerry Street. Abu has his own business center there. He employed Liberians, and we can say to you, at that time it was some of the most difficult moments in our history. So our candidates come to the table with maximum credential, not just educational credential, but they have business credential that they come to the table with. They have governmental experience that they come to the table with. And all our candidates are saying we will work collectively and will not work individually. We will not take arrogance to the legislature where we believe that things are not going right. We lobby with our colleagues to ensure that we make the necessary change. So our candidates are not saying that the Capitol building is dark, and when they go to the Capitol building, there will be light at the Capitol building. Our candidate is not saying that when they go to the Capitol building, they will be arrogant, because if you begin to argue, for example, that there's no light to the Capitol building, and you go there, and you have your own people from your political institution there, your political leader there, your political party chairman there, it's an insult to even your leader. If you go and say, look, I am going to ensure that I provide this bill, and many years ago, even your political leader, your political candidate could not help in the process, that is also an insult technically to your political leader. So we're not going in the faction style of arrogance. Nobody is saying that we're going to the legislature and we'll give you $15,000 back. No. No member of the House of Representatives makes $15,000, not even $10,000 United States dollars. That's not an argument. We're not a candidate that will say, when I go to the legislature, I will make sure that I will publish my salary so that the Liberian people can see it. But why your political leader or your party chairman cannot publish the salary when you have the majority? So there's deception. So what they want to do is that they want to go in there and grab and pretend to the Liberian people as if to say they are Messiah. Because it's even an insult to your leader who preside over you and your leader who work that you cannot question.
And so very shortly we'll be continue with our discussion. Don't go away because we're still here. You were in flight when we had our technical glitch.
Yeah, basically I was saying that our candidates are going to the House to collectively engage our colleagues to maintain, yes, the independence, to help maintain the independence of the legislature, while at the same time supporting the doctrine of coordination and pushing the national manifesto for which they were voted for into offices. Now, we're not going into the Senate or into the House of Representatives with arrogance. No.
What are some of those manifestos that maybe those platforms that your candidates
some of the issues
running?
Some of the issues we have to do with the issue of the issue of women, for example, the issue of children, for example, the issue of supporting the proper agenda for development, rural, helping to push the agenda for rural rehabilitation and construction, for example, the issue of healthcare delivery, for example, the issue of strengthening the educational sector of our country, for example, and like the senatorial candidate, when we went to the first program, the awareness program, we were clear to our people that there is an issue in the Johnsonville community area there. And we said we'll work along with the representative, and once the senator gets elected, along with us, all our way to ensure that we provide to them community college. And we'll be able to renovate the school that is there, so that a lot of the people from Johnsonville area that may not have the transportation, or to ease the transportation issue and provide them quality education, we have a community college. So there are a lot of issues that our candidates have been flagging. the issue of fighting and liaising with the executive branch of government to provide electricity to all people. Those are issues. The issue of pipe-borne water, for example, those are all issues. So those are some of the issues that our candidates they've been flagging. So those are some issues that they've been flagging. So
there have been these allegations. The issue of morality also comes into play when it comes to national politics. Some of your candidates, for instance, they've raised some concerns. Some of their critics have raised some concerns about the candidacy of Madam Polito Way. What can you tell the people to better convince them on the kind of a morality and moral standard that she brings to the table?
No, the first thing is that it's a shame that I will listen to the chairman of the Unity Party making accusations on the doctrine of morality or the issue of I don't want to use those words that were being used. It's not good for the airway. Okay, then talking about maybe, for example, girlfriend, boyfriend story, and I thought those are not the issues. If those are the issues, then, for example, we have a recording in our possession from the mother-in-law, Mr. Darius DeLong, who had accused him, in fact, of beating her daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, of beating on her daughter because he even had a stepchild that he wanted to bring in the home. That's morality issue. If those are the issues they want to flag. And the other, besides that, the issue of abusing women. We just passed the domestic violence bill in the House of Representatives that's going to the Liberian Senate. So this senator, if you like this senator, when that bill goes to the House of Representatives, to the House of Senate, what can he say about morality in terms of abuse of women, for example? What can he say? So it's important, and this is a campaign period. It's important for the people to know their candidates. And before I come there, they flag another, they raise an issue about Abu B. Kamara. I wanted to just dispel the notion before we come back. They call him a criminal. I say, when do you call somebody a criminal? The first thing is that at no point in time the LSCC has charged Mr. Abu B. Kamara. If you read the draft document from the LSCC, there's nothing like a charge. You charge and you must go to court. The first thing is that the LSCC makes recommendation. And when those recommendations are made, the recommendations go to the Ministry of Justice. That's the procedure. So the LSCC does not act until the Ministry of Justice finds it necessary to act upon recommendations from the LSCC. And if the Ministry of Justice cannot act within the space of 3 months, that's 90 days, then the LSCC can act. So there's no charge sheet. There's no charge against Abu B. Kamara. And the truth of the matter is that that's when I said we must clean the mess. It's very important that we clean the mess we inherited. Because I can say to you, so, but you sit behind this microphone, or Boyman sit behind the microphone. I'll give you examples even at the Capitol building. The past administration instituted a system wherein almost every employee of government will have a bank account. If you don't have a bank account, you open one bank account where they can deposit your money to certain banks. Certain ministry deal with certain banks, for example. So your money go into that account. So if you work at Ministry A, for example, okay, that's a mess we inherited. Even if you were dismissed, for example, from that ministry, and even if you transition, once the controller does not take your name from the payroll, when the check comes in bulk, it's not individual check, it's the entire ministry payroll. So when that check comes in bulk, automatically when the money is sent to the bank, the money goes into all of the account once your name is now removed from the payroll. Now, such was the situation in 2017, not 2019. So when the LSCC invited Abu B. Kamara, he had transitioned from one ministry to an agency of government. When they contacted him about 2 weeks ago, and this was the situation, this is what we found out, he said he has to find out himself, because you can't just come and accuse somebody. So he went and got his bank statement in 2017. So that's what bank statements are all there for. So when he got the bank statement, he realized that was factual. So he went to the LSCC and said, yes, the bank statement that I got, it shows in admittance, that's integrity. If you admit, other people will say, but it's not my business, what should I do about that? You put money into my account. But no, he said, because of the bar system.
But Gray, you're running too fast. Let's make this in a more explaintive way. So in a clear-cut term, you're telling us, for instance, I didn't know that this phone was being kept in my house. And I met this phone in my house. And I took the phone back to the rightful owner. Is that what you're trying to tell
No,
me?
I gotta keep putting it in context. The first thing here is that, person like me, for example, I'll give you one example. One time, $1 million Liberian I placed into my account. I didn't know that. Because usually, I only check my bank account when I want to check to get my bank statement. You don't get bank statement regularly, except you put in to get your bank statement in Liberia, like every month. Sometimes even the text messages will never come even during the period of the month. These are all internet. Sometimes you want to send money in America, for example, they tell you the internet is down. So if you don't have your bank statement, you don't know that money has been deposited because you don't have a bank statement or you don't have a message to say this money was deposited into your account. That's the system we have. That's the system we inherited. So since 2017, the LSCC claimed they just made a discovery. Granted. So he said, but I have to verify it because there's my business account I brought to government. It's not an account I created while I was in government. It's a business account, and my business people, my business management run that account. I don't run that account. So as a result of that, let me go and ask and get the bank statement. So he went to the bank and got the bank statement and called the LSCC and said, the allegation, that's true. That's integrity. He didn't run away from him. He said, oh yes, they deposited the money. So the LSCC says, okay, then I do a payment plan, you begin to pay the money. He jump-started the payment plan of $1,500. He jump-started it even before the LSCC came up for payment plan, and somebody went, got the payment plan, because it was bought, and let me appreciate the LSCC saying that they are investigating it internally, because under the doctrine of confidentiality at the LSCC, they don't just put a document with not concluded investigation or make the necessary recommendation. So they now have to investigate, and they say they investigate the matter. So for somebody to begin to say that is so, and it's a restitution. But I want to say this to you. You see the hypocrisy of the opposition these days. That my friend, Musa Benete, for example, and other petroleum importers in the country, during the period of President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf,
which the Liberty Party, I believe, benefited from.
You were the Liberty Party, so you could say that better. So, guess what? Monies were being collected, including when you purchase a petroleum product, you pay 50 cents, even up to today's date. Even up to today's date. Tell us some of that money should have been deposited into an account through the LPRC when this money is being collected at a time point. So, some of the petroleum companies did not pay the money where they were collecting the money from the taxpayer, not just government people, but just anybody you have a generator at your home. So when we came to power and we realized that, what did we do? Through the Ministry of Justice, along with the petroleum importers who did not pay the money, we challenged the process, we told them, the first and foremost thing here, you must pay. And what are they doing? They are restituting the money through a payment plan. So if you argue that Abu B. Kamara is restituting the money through a payment plan and is corrupt, then are you saying that Belete, your former campaign manager, is corrupt? Are you saying the individual who is bankrolling your campaign, Belete, is spending more money in this campaign on Ray and that of Darrell Delon? So are you saying that the taxpayer money or the country money they are using, or they are using, because you cannot pamper corruption? Then the counter argument they've come up with, they said Jesus Christ went to Zacchaeus and he ate with
Zacchaeus.
Yeah, Zacchaeus. And he ate with Zacchaeus. And he transformed Zacchaeus. Oh, so you're saying you are eating with Belete and you transform Belete. They are saying when they go to the Capitol building, they will eat with the corrupt people and change. But your senators been there, your representatives been there. If the argument is that they've been eating with corrupt people, why have they not changed them? If the argument is that, for example, you've been eating with corrupt people, then Mr. Dillon, for example, worked with Mr. Robert Sirleaf. He claimed that Mr. Robert Sirleaf took taxpayer money and sent him to school. Why doesn't he change him from taking taxpayer money? So you see the rhetorics. So I know, like I've said to everybody, and no need to sugarcoat. 2 years ago, let's be real, we don't need to sugarcoat people because the public must know who they are going to vote into office. 2 years ago, Mr. Delon, mother-in-law, did not only accuse him, but made a revelation to the public.
You have evidence to that?
I have substantial evidence, okay? I have substantial evidence, and we can play the evidence. I mean, those who call me will have to stop calling me because we can play the evidence. We have substantial evidence towards the effect. The fact of the matter here is that Mr. Delon is on record by his mother-in-law for abusing his marital home. And women who are advocates of justice, for example, are saying we still support him. That's what they are saying. So it's a contradiction for people to begin to say we support you for beating your wife. And I can provide to you And it will be a great thing. So that the public can be able to listen, and it's very important. Listen.
I said, you want to you will kill me. I beg you, leave me, please. You start holding up at the minute. After you see that, I said, okay, I'm telling the guy, say, you're not making, you're not happy. You walk off and you put out there, but you see, and I see it, and the man, I told her, I said, the man, I'm saying, but you're rapid to me. I told her, you can't even get it. Oh, you want to tell me, say, now you looking, nothing. Why you making all this? You making the thing I don't be. So in here, you see that because you have been doing it, go away. You do every year, go away. Do every day, go away. You want to talk to nobody. When the man say you want to talk to you, you been doing it, we don't talk. The teacher was not so now. And the other day, you get to another time, you get to you know, my brother, you shower. Why you go back up with some sleep? You got to get quiet. Nobody respect you and quiet. They're looking for 25 years. They're looking for 25 years, but they don't know the African someone that you can be on one man when you get nowhere, you just sit down there. Yes, you can't eat yes. You can't eat yes. You can't eat 25 years at all. The man know the man when you're looking at him, baby. He went to our children movie, he carry a camera. He had cooked the man here. So just to carry down at the game, now the guys know that you're not. He just got baby, he was something that they gave us the money. I would bring my baby in your house and the baby man, you got married, or you got getting married, I don't know. Somebody they married, then you want to take to do the woman strong enough to go on the way. But then my daughter, I told her, long time you want to bring a baby, I told her, don't try it. When the man born, you get 20 year old child. Don't try it. I told her, I said, don't try it. Yes? Bishop called this morning, he wants a bishop. Bishop said, yeah, and he went there. And he started again. I said, why are you here? I said, yeah, they're walking up because he said, I'm not going to. I'm telling you more and more things. I said, yes. Then he tell me again, you don't want to tell your mom everything. I said, but you might not tell him, you might kill him. You tell him. He has no respect for the girl, but then he's going to try anything I get, just open up more money. And one day, I said, look at that, boy, I'm done just now. I'm tired, you see, I'm tired, so I'm just not do it. No, see, I don't do it to nobody. Don't come and really look. We respect that man, yeah, we respect mommy. Yeah? He respect nobody. That teacher business, you see, they never got me the money, they say, Merry Christmas, I was shot, sour side, and money, Lord, would give me up. But you were giving me up, and then you call teacher, already fighting you out, then you call me a person, Merry Christmas, anybody, where you're not looking for compliment, but they are there. 15 years married, 30 years married, somebody, if I was your age, I know you have this with you, I would tell them, I'm the mother. You keep quiet. You keep quiet. You think when you put 25 years, about to 25 years, when you do that great, the slavery contest, you can stay with one man, you 25 years, when you get no self-sustain, you don't know it. We tired. Want to open your heart to tell her that she's human being. If I know something, I want to do dinner a long time. See how happy with my daughter, what you do? See how happy. With that, teacher didn't put that man, you don't put that man down. You will not respect that man, you will have, you don't call me. The man guy in America had 2 years, he said he go to school. He never called, pay telephone. We call him, he blocked the phone off and off. He went back, he didn't like almost 1 year, he never spoke the morning, the next time for him. Oh man, I'm wrong. I don't want to talk anything, I don't want to justify. I'm wrong. What I did. I said that your daughter, that she's staying with you, she go on campus. Huh? Why you treating my daughter like trash? Can I check now you start doing this thing? Huh? Can I check now? The other day was really again, Peter getting close to the iron gate, pour us that board together, she walking as someone has seen her reader. Why you treating somebody that ain't like 25 years? I won't wait you. Yeah, you over there, and I was me in America blushing her over. The same thing, talk to her. But the same thing, because you're begging and you putting her show. He told you in the morning. He told you that when you begging, then you get off the phone. Get off the line, because you have to shut him on it. The man will say, we respect him. We want to do our own thing. Tomorrow you can't be there, will not go there because you're not him. We respect him. So when I talk to move, talk to every family, and then the idea will put you to you play where you belong. Then you stay on the now there, you stay talking rubbish and making your friend and the same more rich. And you begging and you put it on show. I don't want to give it there. Calling the family then. Why you can't call sister Sherry? You fool to call Sherry. You can't call Sherry. You fool. The whole thing why you're making all the noise now, man, is no, the other man of the lady, woman at home, she was guilty. Now, he had a old picture. An old picture about she was saying, she told me the money, she said, I don't know what kind of picture is bigger than you want the one way, what kind of picture? She said, I'm going to see yourself when I hear that. What a man is pressing people that this, why you pressing people? I'm telling you. He was sitting in the morning because the mama mentioned a stupid way. They say he put on a picture under me and he went to one wedding and 2005. So he got there. And the American put it. He said, Mama, my dream and my dream again, I'm going to pay. Mama, next age, I did. He said, the tractor said I treated her, the man, the tractor. The tractor that treated her. The man said, you just go to the police station, you are looking, I mean, to anything, call me, put people there on telly, put people there on the land, put people on the land, I want to talk with people. I'm talking with you. I got no fight. Let me put the mother, let me put the name, I will tell them, I say, you're stupid. I will call them. You know something? Well, nothing done, they are nothing. They lie and nothing. They are sent to that picture you put on board, and the picture you did yesterday, one woman you did, one picture she fell that. So they can say, the whole power is asking what a woman has now, you know, see where, why, it makes sense what you're saying. All the things that, before we have somebody, so all the people say, you will talk, and you talk with me, and you talk with me, and then you get beginning back, and this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock you are the bishop, and then one again, don't see free, me, I'm not big here, I get nothing to do, I like big here, I'm tired with the same thing. I'm tired with that, I get repetition, they get you like we are, they get to go to different churches, ministry, they get respect for her. Yeah, they put that respect, you see, if they repetition, they get repetition too. You see that girl, I'm not better, Sunday coming, kind of question about all the church. The way you will say, husband, be me, he says, you don't have it.
Yeah.
I have to listen. So they got a lot of him and they get nothing about that. She ain't come forward, but she's not lying for him. She's not lying for him. She wants your side. She's right.
Okay, we just listened to this long tape. What is that tape, first of all?
The first thing is that you see, when you get into politics and you come with and you claim that you are very clean. Okay, the first thing, and this is the situation, because about 2 years ago or so, this recording was placed out, and there were attempts to kill the recording, and I realized that it didn't just come out in the media, but it was all on the social network, and the mother, in fact, initially when the allegation came up that participant Acarous DeLong, I've been consistently.
Why do you keep calling him participant?
He's a participant and not a contender. He's not a contestant, technically, to fulfill the Liberian Constitution and the electoral laws of our country when it comes to by-election and multi-party democracy. You will have some people who are participants. So one participant, Acarous DeLong, was accused. Some community people are accusing, some have placed it on the Facebook, and his mother-in-law came out. If you listen to her keenly, she said one thing, that if I know your Facebook issue that he lying on, I will go public. But I don't know how to do it. Secondly, he begging behind the scene and he posting. And this will appear as if to say we are compromising behind the bishop who is involved into this matter, that is his wife, Bishop. So you're listening keenly. She even described him as a crook. Somebody who placed a picture of his wife out, that went to a wedding. It was an old picture just to say that he and his wife together. So you also listen to the lady talking about, that's why I thought the Unity Party candidate, they didn't even know, the Unity Party chairman doesn't even know his own candidate. Because if you begin to bring us stories calling other people say they got baby money, you listen to what the mother-in-law said. The mother-in-law, Acarous DeLong, she even may mention Acarous DeLong name twice in the recording. She said that his girlfriend also, okay, had a child, and this girl is going to get married. So he comes that he want to bring his baby in the house. The wife is rejecting it because the man not informed, because he's been denying it for quite a long time. And then he beats the woman. The mother comes out again to say by during the rainy time or like 2 a.m. in the night, you put the woman out of the house. And you lying to the public that the woman is in the house. She said, y'all go to the house and ask him, where's the woman? The woman is out of the house. So these are the things that we're talking about. And one of the reasons why it backfired, that the mother-in-law became so annoyed, was that he collected his wife, he coerced her for both of them to make a video. So the mother-in-law got so annoyed that why should he consistently be psychologically or emotionally intimidating and physically terrorizing this young, the is in love with him. Okay, so I'm saying that these are issues that the women of Liberia, we have to, you could call Mr. DeLong, he should have the platform. I believe you could call him today and ask him whether this is the fight, or call his mother-in-law in subsequently and ask him whether this is the fight. So when you are raising issues of morality, because the trend of the argument is that he comes to the table with integrity. Where's the integrity? When taxpayer money through Mr. Sali were being used to send you to school, and you call Mr. Sali Ezekiel, who took taxpayer money and helped him up, he said Jesus Christ changed Ezekiel, but he didn't change Mr. Sali and admit him to the usage. And let's see, there's another issue that we're talking about. One of the issues that our candidates have said very clear about that, they support the concept of dual citizenship. Participant Dillon and Order had informed the Liberian people a year ago or plus, they don't support dual citizenship. In fact, the argument was that when Ambassador Weah, when the president raised the issue of supporting dual citizenship, he said the president only wanted his son to become citizen. That was his argument. So the head for Weah, now he goes on air today and trying to shift the goalpost to say, yeah, I support dual citizenship of Liberian born. But dual citizenship of Liberian born, or Liberian can be naturalized in another country, okay, and he's a Liberian. So when you said that, you just don't support the concept of dual citizenship, you don't want competition, you don't want professional people to come back home to work, you think that they're going to take your job, you think that some of them will be in the advocacy for a character like you, not to be in the political sphere and misleading people. These are the issues. These are the issues. You are saying, and you have the best in the United States of America, some of them who are dual citizens, they're sending money to your campaign process. That is deception. So when people come to the table with the doctrine of integrity and morality, it's very important. And one of the clarifications I want to make here in the public is that Ambassador Weah's statement towards Mr. Dayton was very clear. It was under the doctrine of falsification and being a fraudster. He said, you went to India, you said you had a bachelor degree in political science. You did not. You lied about your education. You said you graduated from Wellstone High School. I was there. You lied. You did not. You went to Strayer University to get a degree. And when the university realized that you didn't have a degree, you didn't have high school papers, etc., people communicated with them. They dropped you. You came to Liberia and said Liberia is the only area that I cannot be deported from. So the argument by Ambassador Weah is not, the argument had not been that you didn't get college degree. So no, that's the argument. The argument is that you falsify your document. That's the argument. So if Ambassador Weah's argument was not about the falsification of document, it's just criticizing you because you didn't get a college degree, then it would have been a contradiction, like he didn't say, of appointing other people. But Ambassador Weah did not say that I didn't appoint people who don't have a college degree already or who are not going to college. He's saying that you lied about your education, and because you lied about your education, you are not qualified or competent to argue morality. You must go back to school. That's his argument. The argument is very clear. So I hear you naming character like Aaron Wilson, who been a former student leader in the Republic of Liberia, for example. How can you put yourself and Aaron Wilson on the same intellectual pedestal and advocacy in Liberia when it comes to the student community? So these are the issues. So we are saying, if you get a high school paper, or if you feel that you have a high school paper, you went to university, for example, You can come and go to university here. But you can't do that here because you don't have a WIAC paper. You claim that you are a WIAC paper instead of taking government exam. Because during those days in 1989, what we call government exam. Okay, it changed to WIAC in 1995. 94, I mean. 94 school year, when I graduated in 1994 school year, is when we took the first WIAC in the Republic of Liberia. So is he saying he took it in 94? The document they presented recently is a falsified document to Strayer University that they manipulated and fixed here, and he took to Strayer University. But people don't. His name is not to WIAC. So these are the issues that we are raising. These are the issues that we are raising. We are not raising issues because Delon did not complete college. We are raising issues because he falsified documents. That's what we are saying. So there's a difference between those who didn't graduate from high school, from college or from high school and admitted to the fact, as opposed to those who falsify documents and claim that they got a bachelor's degree in political science, that claim that they got a diploma from Western High School, that claim that they did WIAC, and they don't have a document. So you're talking about integrity. This is the debate about integrity we're raising. So you can't even show your classmates all of them in pan bottle. You can show none of them. So these are the issues that we're flagging. So our candidates are very clear. We have a majority bloc, whether you like it or not. You criticize the majority bloc, but lawmakers from your political institutions are in the majority bloc. You cannot take action against them. And I feel insulted, to be frank with you. Had it been Polita or Abu, are sitting on the platform where lawmakers were sitting on the platform day before yesterday, Representative Nimale, for example, Representative Yeka Kolba, for example, Senator Sandra Johnson, for example, and other people who were sitting on the podium, and Mr. Dillon was saying that the Capitol building is dark, and he's going to put light in the Capitol building, meaning that you guys don't have the capacity to put light in the Capitol building, intellectual light or economic light. The guy is saying that the building is corrupt, and lawmakers from your institution who endorse you are sitting on the platform and they've done nothing about fighting corruption. How would they don't allow, for example, Sandra Johnson to endorse him? Sandra Johnson is caught on a recording for soliciting bribe. So these are the issues that we're talking about. Sandra Johnson, it was played on Juke FM, is caught on a recording for soliciting bribe from investors. Yet he comes to endorse Dillon, and Dillon call him a good senator. And yeah, it's a contradiction. A man who born a school sales during in Bomi County to deprive people. I can understand why they don't support such a character. Because he himself is a flunky from high school. So he support the fact that other people born school. So these are the issues that we're flagging. So when the issues are in town with the personalities and the personalities are in town with the issues, we'll discuss both. We're not running away. And I sat down. I listened to my old man Yuri. I felt so sick. To be frank with you, I felt so sick. That's not the Yuri that I know. That's not the issue. You talk about corruption, you say, oh, Abu corrupt. That's the argument. They say he's a criminal. But who is more of a criminal of those who didn't voter register in the district, who soliciting the people vote, and you cannot vote for yourself? You've done nothing. Absolutely nothing for the people prior to the campaign process. So what is District 15, the plantation, where people will just go, and when the plum is red, you go and pick the plum now and carry and go sell it out there and get more money out of it. District 15 can never be a plantation. So we put our candidates from the initial part of this program on the pedestal, told you about the academic credential. We told you about the developmental initiative. We told you some of the things they will be doing at the legislature. We also said that they're not going to the legislature to confront, to be arrogant. It's not a confrontation. You know, when you go to the legislature and think that you win individually, there is the problem. So somebody is saying, we're going to the legislature because we want to tell this president that what he's doing is wrong. Why your political leader cannot tell this president that what he's doing is wrong? Why your party chairman cannot tell this president what he's doing is wrong? Why your people in the legislature, combined forces, the legislature is dominated by opposition, whether you like it or not. Combined forces. So what are you saying? If in your argument that you didn't put a good lawmaker, what made you think that you can be a better lawmaker when you vetted them, when you campaign for them, when you've been pushing them through the length and breadth of the legislature? So what difference do you bring to the legislature when you have a single vote?
Okay,
Only
Honorable.
a vote.
Honorable, thank you
And
very
when you're
much.
arrogant, the guys are not going to work with you. Clear cut.
Time is not in our favor. We've already caught up with time. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
So, see, you're very quiet.
No, I'll give you the time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, man. Thank you very much. He's Representative Acarous Gray. He's been on the program right here, and we've been talking about the preparedness of the candidates of the coalition ahead of the by-election. So it's time that we call it a quit.